In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate to you how to solve linear equations that have both binomials like a minus 1 and fractions such as the ones you see on your screen now. Before we do this, however, I want to do a little refresher course on simplifying some binomial fractions by multiplying them by a constant. In the first example here, we have 10 bracket x minus 3 over 2. We have to divide the numerator and denominator by 2, like we do with any fraction. Get 2 into 2 once, 2 into 10 5 times, and then we multiply the 5 times x, we get 5x, and the 5 times negative 3, we get negative 15. In the second example, we have 12 outside a square bracket, and then inside that bracket there's another round bracket that contains the binomial a minus 1. In this case, we need to eliminate the interior bracket first, so we do that by applying the negative outside to both terms inside the bracket. Negative times a, or negative of a, is negative a, and the negative times negative 1 is positive 1. This is where there's a tendency to make a mistake, so be careful because the negative applies to both terms inside the bracket. Once we've done that, we do just like we did in the last one. We divide the numerator and denominator by the common divisor of 2. We get 2 into 2 once, 2 into 12 6 times, and then we multiply everything inside the bracket by 6. We get 6 times negative a gives us negative 6a, and 6 times 1 is positive 6, so the final term is negative 6a plus 6. Now we'll get back to solving the equation. To solve this equation, even though there's a binomial in it, I like to get rid of the fractions first, and in order to do that, we multiply every term in the equation by the lowest common multiple or lowest common denominator of the denominators in the equation. In this case, those denominators are 2, 6, and 4, so the lowest common multiple is 12. What we do is multiply every single term in this equation by 12. So in the first case, I'll put a square bracket in place because I don't like to have two sets of round brackets. So we get 12 times negative bracket a minus 1 over 2, just like the refresher course, plus 12 times 5 6 equals 12 times negative 3/4. This first term, as we did in the refresher course, I'm going to eliminate the bracket inside the square bracket. We get negative of a is negative a, and negative of negative 1, or negative times negative 1, is positive 1. So inside the square bracket we have negative a plus 1 over 2. Then we multiply 12 times 5 6, divide numerator and denominator by 6. You end up with 2 times 5, which is 10. And we divide on the right hand side we divide the numerator and denominator by 4. So we end up 4 into 4 once, 4 into 12 3 times, multiply 3 times negative 3, and you get negative 9. Going back to the left side of the equal sign, we divide the numerator and denominator by 2 as we did in the refresher. We get 2 into 2 once, 2 into 12 6 times, and then we multiply 6 times every term inside the square brackets. 6 times negative a is negative 6a, plus 6 times 1 is 6. We bring down the 10 and the negative 9. At this stage, we can simplify a little bit because we have negative 6a plus 6 plus 10 equals negative 9. So we can combine the plus 6 plus 10, we get negative 6a plus 16. Now in order to keep all of the terms with variables on the left side, we have to eliminate the plus 16. To do that, we subtract 16 from each side of the equation. So we end up with negative 6a plus 16 minus 16 equals negative 9 minus 16, or negative 9 negative 16. So on the left side you're left with negative 6a, and on the right side the negative 9 and negative 16 combine to give you negative 25, since they're both negative. Now in order to get 1a on the left, you divide both sides by the coefficient of a, which is negative 6. So you get negative 6a over negative 6 equals negative 25 over negative 6. And a equals 25 over 6, which is positive. Or you can write this as a mixed fraction as 4 and 1/6. You divide 6 into 25 4 times with 1 left over, so it's 4 and 1/6. I have taken out all the red marks to show you what your solution should look like. All of the equal signs are one above the other, and the solution is presented in a way that's very easy to follow. Before we move on to another example, I want to show you a slightly different way to do the first step of this equation. Sometimes people want to eliminate the original brackets first before they multiply by the lowest common denominator. So in this case, in the first step, you would apply the negative in front of the a minus 1 to the a minus 1, and you would end up with the first term of negative a plus 1 over 2. And nothing changes in the other two terms. And now at this stage, you would eliminate the fractions by multiplying each term by 12 and putting brackets around the first term, the entire negative a plus 1 over 2, then 12 times 5, 6, plus 12 times negative 3/4. Divide the numerator and denominator of the first term by 2, and you get 6. 6 times negative a is negative 6a, and 6 times positive 1 is positive 6. Then you multiply 12 times 5, 6, and gets 10 as we did before, and 12 times negative 3/4 gives you negative 9, just like we got before. At this stage, you'll see that both equations are identical, so in order to finish the solution, you would just continue with exactly the same steps that we did before and get your answer of a is equal to negative 4 and 1/6. In front of you, you will see another equation that I want you to try on your own, so pause this video now and restart after you have tried to solve this equation on your own. Remember to take your time, and if you have any trouble with the multiplication of the binomial, just go back to your refresher course and you'll see how to do it. The first steps in solving this equation are to eliminate the fractions since there are no brackets anywhere. In order to do that, you multiply each term by the lowest common multiple or denominator of 2 and 5, which is 10, which gives you 10 times x minus 3 over 2 plus 10 times 3/5 equals 10 times negative 1. And then you simplify each of these multiplications. In the first term, 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 10. 5 times, you multiply 5 times x minus 3 because it's a binomial, and you get 5x minus 15. The second term, 5 into 5 once, 5 into 10 twice. Multiply the numerators 2 and 3 and you get 6. And then on the right side, 10 times negative 1 gives you negative 10. Now on the left side, we can simplify a little bit. You have 5x minus 15 plus 6. The minus 15 or negative 15 plus 6 combine to give you negative 9. So you have 5x minus 9 equals negative 10. In order to get the variable x on the left side by itself, you add 9 to both sides of this equation to eliminate the negative 9. And on the left side, the negative 9 plus 9 is 0, so you end up with 5x. And on the right side, negative 10 plus 9 is negative 1. Now we have 5x equals negative 1. So we divide both sides by 5 in order to get 1x. You have 5x over 5 equals negative 1 over 5, or x equals negative 1/5. Again, I've taken out all of the red marks so you can see what this equation should look like when you are finished. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.